Thanks for joining us here on this Friday morning. Please allow me to introduce to you Jennifer Weatherhead Harrington. She is a travel expert, and a lot of Canadians love to head south for the winter. A lot of people are trying to escape this cold weather and the snow. And recent airlines have announced charging more for the more bags you have.
They have.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not
scary.
very nice, are they?
No.
They're
trying to gouge the man.
Asking you to pay to possibly lose your luggage, not get it there on time. I don't quite get it. That's why I do carry-on. That's why I like carry-on. So. Well,
before we find out what to do with your carry-on luggage, let's take a look at what not to do. Some valuable tips here provided by Jennifer, and we'll run these tips right now. Talk us through it here.
Yeah, so taking full-size anything, whether it's liquids, anything full size, don't do it. Leave it at home. You want to be everything in mini size. Leave all your heavy, bulky stuff at home or wear it on the plane. So if you're going to take a big sweater, big shoes, wear those on the plane. Don't pack them. And just taking a lot of stuff in general, you don't need as much as you always take with you. I always say, if you're going to try this, write down a list of everything you want to take with you, pack it like you normally would, and go on that trip, but then cross off what you actually wear. And I guarantee you, it's about a third of what you actually pack.
Wow, and that'll save you money in the long run.
Yeah. And then just being haphazard when you're packing. You have to be really concise when you're doing a carry-on. You want to make sure that you're rolling things really tightly, fitting as much as you can in there as possible. And then also, when it comes to money, this is a side tip, I like to put money in different places. So that way, if something does happen, God forbid, you know that you're not completely out of your cash. So have some in your purse, have some in your luggage, put it in different places so that way you know that you have a little bit of emergency cash if you need it.
One of the things I learned too, I made a mistake one time of almost being late for a flight because I slept through the alarm, and I was quickly packing the morning of before I had to go to the airport. Pack the night before. Yeah,
so if you are going to do carry-on, you do have to put in a little bit more time and effort because you need to think about what you're doing and you need to take the time to pack properly.
Okay,
so,
talk us through stuff.
I always love making sure that you have the proper size luggage. So there are different size restrictions depending on the airline. So you want to make sure that you check that out and then make sure that you have the right size luggage. The last thing you want to do is show up at the airport, go through all the trouble of packing a carry-on, and then for them to say, that's too big, it doesn't fit the requirements, we're going to check it. Defeats the purpose. My next big tip, and I love these, are packing cubes. So I put everything in here. If you think about how people used to use Ziploc bags, and then they would seal up and make it like really tight and compact, this is the same idea, but a lot nicer.
Okay.
I find that if you roll things up and you put them in these packing cubes, you can fit in a lot more stuff, and it just keeps everything neat and organized.
So rolled rather than folded.
Yes.
Will save space.
Yes.
Interesting.
So another tip that I always do is make sure that when you have your clothing, you iron it first. So this is the bit of the prep time.
Okay.
So make sure you iron it so it's super flat, very thin, and look for thin fabrics, and then you want to roll it as tightly as possible. Like this.
And again, as opposed to folding this shirt, for instance, it will save more space.
It does. It saves a lot more space. You can always like tuck things in a little bit more when you're rolling, whereas opposed to flat packing, it just kind of sits and it doesn't get squished down quite as much. So if you're trying to fit in as much as possible, roll it up.
One of the things that when I was reading some of your notes is, look at this. You're going to carry shoes on somewhere. Look at all the space that you can use.
Yeah, so
what do you do with that empty space in a shoe?
Stuff everything you can in there. If it's socks, if it's accessories, chargers, phone adapters, those kinds of things, I put those in there. But the other thing I would say is I actually love these shoes by Echo because they're like slippers. So I wear these on the plane.
Ooh.
So they're a little bit bigger. So that's the other thing. Put your sandals, your flats, those kinds of things in your carry-on. You can fit a lot in that way. Wear your biggest shoes or your boots if you're going to a cold destination on the plane.
What about that guy that sits behind you? If you're by the window and all of a sudden you see his foot stretch out next to you against the airplane cabin, I don't like that guy.
No, that's a whole plane etiquette segment that we're going to have to talk about. Don't do that.
I love this. This is a two-in-one jacket.
Yeah, so this is another way to kind of save space. So I like being cozy on the plane and having an opportunity to sleep. So instead of packing a separate little travel pillow or one of those blow-up ones, find a jacket that's nice and soft that you can fold up really easily and then just kind of tuck into the hood. That way you don't have to put it in your suitcase and carry it on, and you get to use it as a pillow.
And you could sleep right.
You can sleep, yes.
Very nice.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move. I'm going to bring stuff over here towards you here.
So beauty tools. If you do need to take them, I know a lot of people want to still have their flat iron and their hair dryer with them, especially if you're doing Airbnb, you don't know if they're going to have a hair dryer. So look for the mini version of everything. So Conair makes really awesome travel size versions.
It's also a good movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that too. You could watch that on the plane while you have those kind of a weird situation. Also look for things like cleansing wipes instead of taking your actual face cleanser. Look for things like that. They come in little packages. They're easy to take with you, and then you don't need to worry about bringing them back on your way back. And finally, I would say this is a great little tool. It actually weighs your luggage, so you just hang it
You're
up.
not stuck.
So you know that you're the right size.
Thank you so much, Jennifer Weatherhead Harrington. Some great tips there. Thank you.
Thank you.